We had some fabulous entertainers on the waterfront, and we had a really good entertainment committee. So every night we either put on a concert for them or a sing-song. We got films that were progressive, of course. Charlie Chaplin, who was a well-known
subversive.
Yes, yes, and of course, the one and only Paul Robeson. We got Paul Robeson's films. And of course, in 1961, Paul Robeson came to the Wharfies Hall in Port Adelaide and sang to us, entertained us.
That. That's extraordinary.
He did indeed.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yep. He came and he sang to a packed hall. He recited Freedom Train. He sang Old Man River. Oh yes, and we loved Joe Hill. We loved Paul Robeson, and he sang in every major port in Australia to the Wharfies, because we had conducted a campaign over a very long time to get his visa returned to him, and we had held up American ships in the major ports here. We'd give them buggery, and every time they come into port, we held them up for 3 or 4 days. They took his passport off him because he was outspoken in the struggle for his people. We also did the very same thing for Nelson Mandela. And I can recall coming down here when there was a ship out there, a South Ocean ship, and they were trading illegally, taking cargo to South Africa, and we had a ban against that until they released Nelson Mandela. And every time the South Ocean boats arrived at a Port Adelaide, at a port in Australia, the tugs first refused them tugs for 2 days, and then when they came alongside the wharf, we refused them labour for 2 days. So whenever they went to Perth,
they used to bring the ships out in so that they couldn't get out on their own.
Yeah, and they couldn't get out without tugs. We'd always turn them up the river, yeah. And so that in Perth.
So you had a lot of fun doing all this, didn't you?
Oh, mate.
The greatest days of his life.
The greatest days of our lives, mate. Greatest days of our lives.